we're in a gay bar
Yeah,
and it's full of grown folks.
Yeah.
We're not at church. Because I like to swear, you know, and I specifically really like the F word.
Oh my God,
it's a good one.
Oh girl,
I mean, I like all of them.
Same,
you know. But I was like, really, I'm in a place where you have to be 21 to even get in the door, and I can't swear.
Go fuck yourself.
Sucks. I know, right? But that lady, oh my God, she was crazy. And so I didn't last there very long.
No?
Plus, she also didn't last very long as the owner.
Weird, because all she wanted was women. She didn't want to be a bar.
Right, to get laid.
Right, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, girl.
Did not work well. My second job, so my first job, we told the old folks about. My second job, I was working at a gas station.
Oh, I love these stories.
In Minville.
Ugh. Trash.
So, right. I have so many stories from when I worked there, but probably one of my favorites, just because it's so stupid, was when I bought my first car, and it was the piece of shit car I paid $100 and something for, you know, and the old man that I worked for was like, you know, pop the hood, let me see how this all works. You know, it's like,
no.
All right. How do you do that?
Yeah. What's the hood?
How do you pop the hood? I don't even know. Is there right. And when he asked me if everything works, I'm like, everything but the horn.
Right.
And then he got up under his tinker with shit. Try it now. I tried it.
Did you say like wait a minute?
He just said try it now. I tried it. It worked. He hit his head on the.
You know what?
The hood.
I don't feel like you're accountable for his poor decisions.
Agree.
I would have, if that were me, I would have been like, hey ho, in the driver's seat.
Hey,
give me a minute, give me 1 second, and then honk the horn. But he was
wait
all honk it.
Wait till I get out from under the hood. But he didn't say that. But at this job, so one night I was working there with my friend, also queer.
Weird.
But we're working together. And this motorcycle gang comes in.
Ooh, girl.
And I don't mean it was just a bunch of folks on motorcycles. I mean it was an actual motorcycle
leather
gang.
jacket.
It was the Gypsy Jokers.
Ooh, girl.
And I turn to my friend is gone. My friend has gone and locked himself in the bathroom because he's scared. And I'm like, really? I mean, it's a lot of men, and I'm used to that, but not that.
But no one wearing that much clothing.
Nobody, right? So I go to the very first guy, the closest island there of the gas station pumps, and Mr. Man on his bike looks at me and he goes, I need you to fill up my gas tank. And I'm like, okay. Well, and of course I'm looking at his bike like, where's that?
I don't understand. Does it go with the tires?
And he then shows me that the cap is literally in the middle.
I bet he did show you, honey.
He did.
Oh, honey.
And then he says to me, and if you spill any gas on my bike, I'm going to cut up your pretty face.
Oh my God.
And I was all, this face?
Bitch.
No, girl, I'm young. And I don't have nary a blemish. No, you will not be cutting up this pretty face.
Bitch.
And I said, here you are, handed him the gas nozzle and said, do it yourself. Because no, and in the time that they were there, several of them helped themselves to many gallons of gas that nobody paid for.
Oh my God.
And I'm all, bye.
Have a
bye,
great
bitches.
day.
Have fun. Thanks for not killing me. Get up. Bye-bye. Kisses.
Yep.
You know, and then I called the owner later. Well, then my stupid friend comes out of the bathroom, and I'm like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah, we're not friends anymore.
We're done. We're breaking up now. And then I called the owner, and the owner comes and he's like, listen, I am glad that you handled it the way you handled it.
Because you'd be dead.
You did the exact right thing. Because he's like, it's just gas. It's not worth getting hurt over or whatever.
That's so
but
nice.
I, of course, am like shaking or whatever. It's like, but he threatened to cut up my pretty face.
I'm my face, girl. I know. It's so funny that you had an interaction with like, a bicycle gang too, because
bicycle. It wasn't Pee Wee Herman.
Girl, there's those people on their 10 speeds
on their Schwinn,
and they're wearing leather jackets. Ugh, you fucked my bike up. I cut your pretty face. You're like, sir.
Yeah, no, they weren't like having a bike with the banana seat and the sissy bar. Listen, they were on motorcycles, motherfucker.
I know. Semantics.
Okay.
So, because when I lived in the Los Angeles, I worked at a very popular coffee store. and it had a mermaid on it. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay,
People wear green aprons.
Yeah.
You got it. Anyway.
Yeah.
I really... I need you to know.
That was so vague.
I know. It could be anyone. I've made a lot of my friends with people I've worked with over the years. Most of my friends, I would say, now I've worked with at one point or another. But I worked with a lot of people that I was really good friends with. And one of our customers was a regular who would just get 2 shots of espresso. And he rode in his bike every day. I don't know what it was. Harley, some motorcycle.
It had wheels.
Girl. And he came in his leather, he either wore his leather vest or his leather jacket, which all had the patches. He was part of some, I used to say, are you in a gang? And he used to say, we're in a club. And I said, so you're in a gang? And he would say, it's a club. And I'd be all, so you're in a gang. But he came to my parties. I would throw parties because I had a house that I lived in. And everyone would come and he and his buddies, his club members, his gang members, they're in a gang.
It's a club.
Would hang out outside and drink and smoke cigarettes and act as security and bouncers. So that was always nice. Hey. But I remember being at work and there was this man who was super creepy. That's a common denominator of my life, is that anywhere I've worked, there's been some man who's uber creepy. But there's a man who lived not far from my store and would come in every day and sit there. And he would gawk at me. He would bring me random shit. He had flowers sent to me. He, bought these tickets for a concert that I never wanted to go to. And, mind you, I was in a relationship with somebody the whole time. He was just nuts. But Mr. Man and his bicycle club came in. And because I had told him over and over, because that's when I smoked cigarettes. So I'd go outside and smoke with the motorcycle gang. And I'd be like, motorcycles?
They're a club.
Oh, motorcyclers, listen, I'm in danger, or whatever. And they were like, is that the one? Pointed to the guy, and I said, yeah. So the next day, they got all of their friends to come, and as the man's walking home, they fucking circle him. He's in the center of, all of these motorcycles in our parking lot.
So then he shit himself.
Yeah, and then he never came back. So I was like, oh my god, thank you. And they didn't expect anything from me. I gave them all free coffee, but they didn't expect anything from me. So it was good, though. I was like, fuck with me again. I'm obviously a gang member now.
I have connections.
I'm a gangster. But it was crazy to me. I would just be like, power? Yeah, thank you. Because I was 23. Oh my god, thank you so much, motorcycle gang. Mm-hmm.
I know, my one and only interaction, very personal interaction with a club member.
Sure.
Yeah. Hell's Angel.
Mm-hmm.
I understand they're a very solid club. Been around for a long time. He had a very solid club. Sorry, I can't believe I went there. Oh my god! Anyway, we had a very special... No, we had a one-night stand. Let's call it what it is. Oh my
god.
But anyway, the next day, I had to go to court.
Okay.
Because I was testifying against this guy who'd beat me up.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Was he another gang member?
He was not. He was just a piece of shit.
God.
Anyway, but that's all besides the point and a whole nother story. But Mr. Motorcycle Club member says to me, he's like, oh, well, where are you going? I said, I have to go to court today, whatever. And he's like, why? What did you do? I go, not me. Mm-hmm. I said, I have to testify against this guy who beat me up. And he's like, who is this guy? And I'm like, you just met me last night. It's okay. You don't have to. And he said, well, who is this guy? And I told him. And he goes, why he beat you up? And I said, well,
he crazy.
He had a really good reason. He cheated on his girlfriend while she was in the hospital having their baby. Mm-hmm. And I told her. Because she was my roommate and my friend. And he was just a dirtbag.
You're a bad person.
And so he beat me up. Well, anyway, he goes, whoa, do you want me to take care of this guy? And I'm all, what
do you mean? Support him financially?
What do you mean by take care of?
Pay his rent?
And he's like, well, I go, no, because somehow, some way, that's going to get back that I hired a hitman or something. And he's like, well, I don't have to kill him. I could just break his legs.
Oh, okay. Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
That seems all right. And, and he said, he's like, where would I find this guy? And I may have mentioned where he worked.
Oh.
Possibly. I mean, I can't... It was so long ago. I can't possibly remember if I told him exactly where he worked and what shift he worked. I don't remember.
Yeah.
All I know is that he didn't show up for his own court date, and I never saw him again. So
this is what you say in response to, do you want me to? You say, the less I know, the better.
Right? I know nothing. Listen, I don't... Blah,
and then you change everything. You start going to church. You hang out with the good crowd.
Start going to church. I was a regular church goer. Well, I was on my knees a lot. Isn't that the same? I was worshiping.
Just because you prayed to God does not mean you were in church.
I'm gonna take a break right
You need to.
And we are back. And I didn't expect this to take that kind of a turn since we were just talking about bosses and whatever. And what's funny is we are...
Talking about jobs. You said jobs.
Jobs.
Talking about jobs.
Oh my God.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. I don't know him.
Me either.
Well, no, it's like we're 2/3 of the way through our thing. I've literally talked about 2 jobs.
Well, it's okay, girl. We've worked a lot.
And other things. One of the things... The one I was going to tell you... The shortest job I ever had, I got a job. I was desperate for a job. And one of my friends was like, well, I can hook you up. I know this guy. Mm-hmm. Cool, okay. It's always good. You know someone who knows someone.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that. I don't care about getting it on my own merit. Just get me a job.
Right.
Right. And so the job was doing phone soliciting. Girl, I'm not opposed to soliciting, but not on the phone. No. I don't want to call people and bother them during their dinner time. Try to sell them some shit they don't need. Yep. And so my first day on the job, they gave me this book to study. They're like, here's your script. Here is your list of phone numbers that you call. Yeah. Here is what happened. And here's your response. If they say this, then you say this. I hate that. Because if they say, I'm not interested, you're supposed to come back with this other thing.
Well, how about you get interested?
Motherfucker. Swear to God. You better be interested. I know where you live. Bitch, I have your phone number.
I'm going to get you.
And so they're like, we want you to take a while and really study the script because we don't want you to sound like you're reading.
Sure.
And then we want you to familiarize yourself. Well, I spent way longer than I was supposed to familiarizing myself with the script because I didn't want to do it. I'm like, I don't want to call people. Mm-mm. And then the guy who was my boss, I guess, comes over and he goes, okay, I think really you've had enough time to familiarize yourself. You should need to start calling people. Everybody I called was like, why are you calling me during dinner time? I don't have a choice.
I know, they're making
me. I'm sorry, people. And of course, these phone systems, the people who are the bosses can hear you if they choose to. They didn't hear all of them, obviously. They couldn't hear all of them. But they can listen to anybody's phone call to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so I couldn't go, God, these assholes are making me call you. I'm sorry.
You said the Lord told me
because I'm going to I got to earn my $3 an hour. By then, I think minimum wage might have been $4. But it wasn't even minimum wage. You got paid commission on what you sold.
Nope.
And I don't even remember what I was selling.
Because you were traumatized.
Because I was traumatized. And then I went home from work that night and I was like, I'm never going back to that place.
No.
And I did not. That was it. I had one day there.
Yeah.
And as I walked away, I was like,
never again.
Now, had this been like a now experience, I wouldn't have even waited until the shift was over. I'd have been all, oh no.
No, I hate it here. I'm sorry.
I know I said I would do this job, but I lied. This job is trash. You're trash. Yep. Your product is trash. Yep. Everything's trash. I'm out.
I agree. I have gone to... I mean, I don't think I've had a job just for a day. I have had many jobs because impulse control. But there are jobs that I went to go get the job and left. Or didn't go back for... Because they're like, you're hired. I went to an interview or I would not go to the interview. I think right before I moved home from Los Angeles last time, I had worked for... this bougie spa. People might know who it is. His products are sold at Sephora. His name is Dr. Murad. Anyway, I worked for his salon, spa, whatever it was, in bougie, Southern California. And then I worked there for a week and hated it and was broke every day and had to commute a lot. And that was the first time I ever got pulled over by a police officer. And I started to openly weep because I was like, well, this is where I die, right? And it was my birthday when it happened, and it was pouring down rain in Los Angeles. I was like, what a dark day for Annika. And it was a dark day for me. But yeah, I usually have a job for a minute, just a minute though, and then I'm over it, right? I think one of the... So at that cafe I told you I used to work at, I've worked at that same cafe a number of times, right? I always go back. And so when I worked there in San Francisco, that was the first time that I was ever genuinely stalked by somebody. it was really uncomfortable. So I lived close to Union Square. Yeah, Union Square. And